I'm Kathy, and I've been thinking a lot recently about identity. Right now, this has been sparked because I recently had a first person account published on CBC on identity, on what happened when I found out I was adopted when I was in my mid 40s, and the journey that invited me into with respect to both the family I grew up in and with members of my birth family. And it's got me thinking a little bit about what happens when your sense of identity, your sense of who you think you are, gets disrupted in one way or another. What does that mean for you? Whether it's secrets revealed, or job loss, or marriage, or divorce, or any other number of life events that could happen that cause us to question who we are. And it led me to my very first question, which is like, what is identity? What is our sense of identity? What is underneath of personality traits, abilities, roles, belief systems, skills, the things that we take on in life? And that led me to think about soul essence, the quintessential essence of who we are, of our being, our hopes and desires, that sense of self, the core of who we are, that doesn't respond to judgment, um, is comprised of love, compassion, a broad sense of consciousness, essentially our soul's blueprint. And what does that mean? And when I think back to when I wrote my memoir, Embracing the Stranger in Me, A Journey to Open-Heartedness, partly sparked by finding out I was adopted, but which also talks about my spiritual journey, what happened, how I reacted during job loss, divorce, starting a company, my mother's journey with dementia and her eventual death, the experience with my father and his health challenges, and the story of finding out I was adopted and that whole journey to connect with my birth family and also still to connect with the essence of who I am. That led to the title of Embracing the Stranger in Me, because there's aspects of ourselves we don't even know necessarily until we embark on a journey to discover it. So I've been thinking about how do we align ourselves with our core sense of who we are, our soul essence, what happens when we don't, what happens when we do. And I've been thinking about sort of all of what makes up our sense of identity. And so I'm going to record a series of videos with some thinking about the different aspects of identity and what that means. And I am also recording a series of guided visualizations to help anyone who's curious to connect with their sense of who they are from a number of different avenues. First one being just connecting with core essence. A second one being looking over the timeline of our lives and different roles that we've taken on to discover what roles are aligned with our core essence, what roles are not, what that means, what we want to let go of, what we want to step more fully into. And additionally, and there will be other ones. I don't know right now what they will be, but they'll all be available to you for free. And you'll find links to the CBC first person account below this video. You will also find a link to the first guided visualization underneath of this video. And in subsequent videos that I record, I'm going to talk a little bit about DNA, lineage, which for me, I think about both biologically and through the lineage of the family that I grew up in. Thinking about how we discover our sense of identity through early traits, through roles, and just other aspects of identity. In the work that I do with my partner, Jerry Nagel, when we talk about identity, we talk about worldviews. Worldviews being the lenses through which we see and experience the world, different for each of us. And we talk about the fact that our worldviews are very closely associated with our sense of identity. And the psychological research tells us that when our identity is threatened, we respond as if our very life has been challenged. So it seems to me that understanding the core essence of who we are, what our identity is a very useful understanding, belief, or insight to help us navigate all of the things that come our way, which I often think about as the many streams of life, some of which bring joy and delight, and some of which bring challenges. And then how do we navigate these things? How do we navigate them well? And understanding our core essence and who we are, and paring away the things that don't fit with our sense of who we are can be an incredible life and spiritual journey. I've been on it. You've probably been on it too. And I want to invite us into some intentionality around how we think about our identity, how we live into it, how we embrace it. And the invitation is to do this without judgment, with complete curiosity, with compassion for self, with love for self, and with a desire to allow ourselves to become the best possible versions of who we are and who we are meant to be. So I hope you join me on this journey. I hope that you access the other videos. I hope that you do some of the guided visualizations and that you share aspects of your journey with me and with others who want to know we are in community as we move forward with this. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.